There are tons of truly great old cars out there that look cool, have tons of aftermarket support, and endless potential. Unfortunately, because of the internet, those cars have a lot of hype. And because of that hype, they are more expensive than they probably should be. Then there is the E30 BMW 3 Series. In my opinion, the coolest, smartest, least headache-inducing, knock on wood, easiest old car that you can get if you decide to jump into the old car lifestyle. This 1987 BMW 325e is owned by our friend Tim. Huh? Over the next 5 days, we're gonna turn this nice old car into a head-turning, show-stopping, absolute ripper that is still totally normal to drive.
What?
New suspension, new wheels, brakes from an E30 M3, lights from Europe, factory body cat, and the piece de la resistance, an S52 engine from a newer E36 M3.
You what?
He has no idea that we're doing this, and I hope that he's excited about it. We're about to make our friend's car cool to prove to the world that the E30 is the greatest project car you can possibly choose, and the best way to modify them is to follow a formula and add your own personal touches along the way. Is he stoked?
I'm crying.
That's yours.
Are you f***ing kidding me?
Those are your coilovers, those are your wheels. So, yeah, we're gonna do. I hope you don't have anything to do for the rest of the week. Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be sick. Let's get to work because we only have 5 days. All right, let's do it. Let's turn it around. Chris, secret's up. Now you might be wondering who Tim is. Well, this is Tim. He does a lot of stuff behind the scenes at Speeed. One, he manages our apparel business. If I'm like, hey, I want to make a rugby shirt, Tim figures out how to make a rugby shirt. Then he literally packs and ships everything by hand from his garage. He also helps produce some of our videos, keeping some of the more complicated projects on the rails. Basically, if we come up with an idea that is not a video, that's Tim's department. He's also been our friend for a long time, and he is the proud owner of this 1987 BMW 325e that I found in your trunk, Tim. You're an Uncle Kracker fan and you've been holding out on us this whole time? Oh, and also Tim is very sweet and very shy. Tim got his E30 just over 3 years ago in Las Vegas for really freaking cheap. And digging into it, we know why. It came with the most modest 6-cylinder engine option, an automatic transmission, and a set of 12-year-old generic coilovers. But the E30 chassis is undeniably good. Some might say one of the best chassis ever to grace the earth. So he always had dreams of building it into something special, swapping in a manual transmission, putting an exhaust on it, putting good parts on it, maybe swapping the engine someday. But with 2 kids and all the work that he does, finding and justifying the time and money that he would need has been nearly impossible. But that all changes today.
That was the most satisfying thing I've done in a very long time.
Time me. 17 seconds. New record.
Dude, this is a project.
Crazy.
Are you stoked?
I'm so stoked. It's like starting to hit me now.
He's got like such a huge grin on his face to see his car just like f***ed up.
I've been dreaming of this. The first time I brought this here, I was like kind of hinting to Chris that I wanted him to work on it. And you're like, no, it's too nice, it's too good, and it's got the automatic, and like it hurt, like it made me sad.
Dude, I don't want to take it. I don't want to mess it up. So to prove that the E30 is the smartest and coolest project car in the current world, we are following the same tried and true project car formula that we always do. Starting, as always, with suspension. E30s come with McPherson struts up front and semi-trailing arms in the rear. Now, it may not have double wishbones like a Miata or an FDR X7, but the platform is simple. and has potentially the deepest aftermarket of any classic project car. All right, so the suspension on Tim's car is really, really bad. They're made by a brand that none of us have ever heard of. And on top of that, we can trace the lineage back to a build that was completed in 2012. They are 25-year-old bad coilovers. So this is a set of beautiful ground control coilovers. And when it comes to E30 stuff, ground control is unequivocally the best. They are the official sponsor and suspension supplier of E30 Spec Racing. Spec Racing is one of the nerdiest forms of racing. And if those guys vouch for a product or a piece of equipment, then I 100% believe them. And I have this exact same set on my E30, and I've been driving on them for 2 years, and I absolutely love them. We went ahead and dropped the rear subframe and control arms. We're gonna replace the bushings in the rear subframe. We don't have to, but they've definitely never been done. And if we put this whole car together and don't do them now, they're probably never gonna be done ever. And we're gonna clean these up a bit. We're gonna degrease and pressure wash these. This is the stuff that makes up like a well put together car versus like a junky put together car. Little details, just a little bit of effort. Just takes a willingness to do it and an affinity for watching dirt come off of stuff. Is that the right word, affinity? Yeah. Vocabulary is not required, but it helps.
Oh, yeah. Oh, see? Now you're getting it.
I don't care, no big deal. I want more. Optional thumbnail.
Okay, so we're putting new control arms on the car, but these bad boys, which Chris has affectionately referred to as lollipops, need to come off. And it takes a minute, and it's hard. I've had the E30 for about 3 years now. Picked it up, obviously it's like kind of like someone else's unfinished project. So there were a lot of like good parts, but it was kind of in pieces. It's pretty surreal to be putting all of these like performance components on this car now, because that was the dream from the beginning. So we're getting closer to that dream.
Real old cars are like very, very slow. And a lot of them, especially if they're like carbureted and not tuned absolutely perfectly, like you'll smell like gas when you get out of your car. You don't have things like AC. You don't want to drive them in the rain. You don't want to drive them when it's cold out. You don't want to drive them when it's too hot because they'll overheat. An E30, you kind of get the best old car stuff, as in like aesthetic and vibe, but you kind of avoid a lot of the old car headaches.
And it's the one car that you could just drive and like you feel super natural in the car. The seating, steering, shifter position, it's like a bit of a cockpit. The dash is kind of facing you. I mean, they drive great. Even clapped out E30s drive great. And I always tell everyone I know, it's like, there's nothing like driving an old BMW.
Plus, they're really fucking cool and really fucking square.
Put that on Garm. On Garm is our limited merch program where we'll say something in a video, put it on a shirt or a hat or something, and it's only available until the next On Garm piece comes out. Super limited. If you want this, don't think about it. Jump on it, go to speed.co and get it right now. Also, I'm in the future recording this right now. I'm already wearing the shirt. With the new ground control coilovers on, a bunch of bushings replaced, and the new brakes installed, it's time to move on to the next variable in our formula, the engine. We are replacing the M20 B27 ETA engine that came in Tim's car with this S52 engine from a 1997 BMW M3. Both very good engines, built for wildly different purposes. Eta is a Greek letter similar to beta, alpha, or sigma that engineers use to symbolize efficiency. And that is exactly what the Eta engine was designed for. It was engineered for fuel efficiency and low-end torque in stop-and-go traffic. It does what it was designed to do very well. It's like Huel. It works, but it's not very fun. You don't really look forward to it. Now the S in S52 stands for sports. And what do people who are good at sports do? They perform and they have fun. 3.2 liters of displacement, massive linear power band, Vanos variable valve timing that optimizes airflow on the fly to deliver torque for stop and go street driving while still screaming all the way to 6,500 RPM. With over 200 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque, combined with the inherent smoothness and balance of the straight six layout, this is, in my opinion, the best possible engine option for an E30. I've had one and I miss it. The S52 was also designed specifically for the American market. And at that time, BMW needed the M3 to be reliable and durable. So not only is this engine fun, it's also pretty bulletproof and it doesn't require insane amounts of maintenance that a lot of other high performance engines need. So if the Eta is like Huel, the S52 is like hot dogs. It was designed in Germany, but Americans love it. It's super fun, it's very reliable, and it utilizes just the right amount of technology. All right, so let's try and do this with some flair, gentlemen. I'm sick of putting engines in boring, okay? So I'm gonna run, push it as hard as I can. Right when we get there, Chris, you release it. We'll drop it in right on the mounts. We get one shot at this, guys. Let's make it count. Pretty badass. It sort of feels like the E30 was made for swaps. The engine bay is huge. And from the 80s all the way to the 2000s, their 6-cylinder engines were kind of all shaped the same. So it's relatively easy to fit a newer one without a lot of hacking or fabrication. All right, the S52 engine is in the car. It is now time to focus on the manual swap. Keeping the theme of drivability going, we are sticking with an OEM clutch kit with a dual mass flywheel. It's the most comfortable option, and this will handle 300-400 horsepower, no problem. No need to have some 6-putt clutch, some clutch pedal that's hard to press in with a contact patch that wide. Not able to valet at a restaurant. Keep it simple, stupid. Mwah!
Cool.
We are putting in manual transmission fluid into this car for the first time ever. The 30 is the best chassis because it feels like what it's like to drive a car. Even in its past state, at the beginning of this week, it's still like one of the most fun cars to drive. You're just really in tune with the road, you can feel everything. And it's really fucking cool, and it's really fucking square.
All right, so here's another thing about old cars. Half the job isn't mechanical, it's finding the stuff. So sometimes you spend more time hunting for a clip or a trim piece like this missing frame around the door handle, or you're surprising your friend with a complete renovation of his entire car and you don't have access to it to look for all the tiny little broken stuff. But luckily, we got a 3D printer because this video is sponsored by Bamboo Lab. There's a bunch of people making models online that you can buy for like a few bucks, and there's a million files just for BMW E30s that people have made because their random plastic crap broke. So I found this door handle trim for free.
Crazy. Are you kidding me? Little intricacies?
Right now it's printing a headlight intake for my car because I got jealous of all the cool stuff going on in Tim's car. Buying new stuff for me isn't in the budget, so I bought this bad boy for $3 and I'm printing it over the next 7 hours.
I feel like a god. Our limitations have just disappeared. We can make anything now.
I haven't used a 3D printer in a few years, and they are way better than they used to be. It is awesome to just be able to think of a thing, find it on the internet, and print it. Our printer is the Bamboo Lab H2D, and we've actually been using it for a few weeks now to do all kinds of stuff. You may have seen our watch video. All those gears printed on this bad boy. Jesse printed a boost gauge sleeve for his Sabru. This thing is sick, it's really easy to use, and it's got dual nozzles, so you can mix hard and soft materials in the same run. So if something needs a rigid mount with a soft contact point, you can do it all at once. Plus, you can control it with an app. Potentially coolest of all, there's a camera in it that comes with it, so you can just check in on what you're doing and also record time lapses. This thing is legitimately sick. If you've been thinking about getting a 3D printer, or you like things that are hard to find that other people have made and you want to make them yourself, this thing is legit. Go to bamboolab.com, check it out, or we'll put a link down in the description. So this intake will replace my headlight to provide precious cold air. So you guys remember from before, the engine that we pulled out of this car was built for fuel efficiency, not fun. And so it redlines at 4,500 RPM right there. Our new engine redlines at 6,500 RPM. So there's not even that number on our tachometer. We could run this gauge cluster and the needle would either just stop right there or keep going. But we're gonna upgrade to a gauge cluster from a sportier E30, probably like a 325 IS or something, so that Tim can rev it out and know when to shift. Tim will know exactly where to shift. Now that you have a clutch and you have to like move your leg back and forth, the steering wheels for some reason in E30s, even like the M-Tech and M-Tech 2 wheels, are kind of huge. And Tim is tall, so I think he needs a smaller steering wheel. So we got you a Momo. I have brand loyalty to very certain things.
Ooh, and it's the black one.
Yeah, but it makes it feel real race car-y.
Baby.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest ways to make your car feel completely different and completely cool. And every time that you get in there, you see it. Okay, so Tim is officially working with 3 pedals. He's got a nice little steering wheel so he can move his legs around. The next variable is my favorite, wheels. BMW has some of the coolest looking OEM wheel options of any car company. It's either BMW or Nissan, depending on who you ask. I am a BMW fan, so I think BMW. And Nissan's not even close. They have like 4 sets of good wheels. I am as excited about these as I am about any other part of the build. AZEV Type A's. So like AZEV was a very popular German wheel brand in the late 80s and early 90s. And the Type A is like an iconic E30 wheel, especially with the M-Tech 2 kit. So I've always wanted a set of these. And so like I saw these on Facebook Marketplace for a pretty good deal and bought them just to have. And so I'm honored to donate one of my Grail wheel sets to this car, and I think it's gonna be awesome.
I've always liked the more classic look of like the Euro weaves, but seeing these now like with tires on them, I'm so sold.
The car is ready to get off the rack, so let's throw these on and roll it out so we can finish the wiring. Squatted for too long. I'm like talking about how like these are like a Grail set of wheels, and I found them randomly and bought them just to have them. I'm donating them to the build. First thing Tim says is like, well, normally I like weaves, or I like basket weaves, but I don't know, these are pretty good. You ever gone to a birthday party and give someone their present and they're like enjoying it, and you're like, I should have kept that. Dude, these are rad.
So sick. Oh, baby.
We had 4 center caps, but only 3 of the center cap stickers. So I went on Etsy and actually found a complete set that somebody had made. And I love when people are into this old stuff and they just go and make it themselves. because it's like crafty enthusiasts that keep really cool stuff like this like alive and complete.
Morphin' time!
With the wheels on, now it's time to focus on the body kit. Maybe my favorite thing about the E30 is how it looks. I just think that this is one of the best looking cars ever made. It's so simple and classy that the aesthetics are undeniable. So in the late 70s and 80s, BMW Motorsport was absolutely crushing it on the racetrack. To capitalize on that success and to offer their customers a taste of the race car lifestyle, they introduced the M-Technic line. So before BMW even made an M3, you could buy a BMW 3 Series with sportier suspension, really, really cool interiors, and the M-Technic or M-Tech body kit. This is the second iteration of that kit, the M-Tech 2, and it includes front bumper, rear bumper, side skirts, rear wing spoiler, and these really cool plates that go halfway up the side of the car. All this stuff is gonna make Tim's car look much more aggressive, but still retain a subtle, tasteful OEM vibe because it was designed by BMW. So genuine M-Tech 1 kits are very hard to find in good condition, so they cost thousands of dollars. This is a nice reproduction. It should fit really well, and it'll be easy to replace pieces when inevitably one of them gets smashed by a shingle flying down the freeway. All right, so there appears to be a slight issue, but not really, because we knew this was gonna happen. So in late 1987, BMW did a facelift on the E30 platform. That's where the plastic bumpers came in, and it doesn't look like it, but the entire rear end of the car is pretty much completely different. The M-Tech 2 kit is made for a late model car, so when we put it on an early model car, we have to do a few modifications. We knew this was gonna be the case, and we pushed ahead regardless because we're brave. So don't get nervous, we knew this was gonna happen. And just be aware, when you're buying body parts for your E30, if this video convinces you to buy one, at some point in 1987, they changed a bunch of the dimensions of the car, even though they look virtually identical. So just be aware. It'll look great. We're using an M-Tech 1 spoiler on the M-Tech 2 kit. Headlights on old cars are very bad, and these ones are some of the worst. Sealed beam, halogen. This entire light assembly is one piece, so even if you wanted to upgrade the bulbs, you couldn't because this is the bulb. When this burns out, you replace this. So a very common upgrade on E30s is to replace the stock halogen with European H4 smiley lights from a later model year. They're called smileys because they got a little smiley face on them. The output from these will be way better than what's on there now, and if Tim wants to upgrade to HIDs somewhere down the line and make them even brighter, he can do that with these lights. All right, M-Tech body kit officially on. Now time to focus on the final piece in our formula, a Castro Motorsport custom exhaust. Chris makes legendary exhaust systems. Castro cars sound great. Also, there's these Castro Motorsport license plate frames that you can't buy. The only way you can get one is if Chris builds your car. And Chris is the one who decides if he's done enough work to the car for it to be a Castro car. If you have one and your car isn't built by Castro, then you're like a poser and people will like make fun of you and make you take it off. And so one of the first things Tim said was like, oh yeah, I can finally get one of those Castro license plate frames.
Shit, there you go. Tim's blast pipes are ready.
This diva gonna sing. Open up that exhaust. Let your car speak her mind, bro. Now we're able to do this whole thing in 5 days because we have literally the most qualified guy in the world helping us out. Chris Castro and Castro Motorsport builds the nicest resto mod E30s on the planet. He's been swapping S52s and S54s into these cars for almost 20 years now. He's built cars for Frank Ocean, Tyler the Creator, me, the 3 people that everyone talks about. Oh, Frank, Tyler, and James? Normally he does bare metal restorations, so we are super lucky that he's our friend and willing to lend us his expertise and his shop for the week. Now, if you want Chris to build you something super nice and honestly super expensive, hit him up. Don't be calling my boy and wasting his time. These things are nice and nice shit costs money. So if you're a rich guy out there and you want one of the nicest E30s on the planet, hit up Chris. Okay, so after 5 days of work and with every upgrade in our formula installed, suspension, S52 engine, manual transmission, wheels, body kit, exhaust, it is finally time to fire up Tim's dream car for the very first time. Okay, Timothy, when you pulled this thing in, it had about 120 horsepower at the crank. Now it's got damn near 240. Let this diva sing. This is what it sounds like every time now, dude. Every time you get in the car, this is what it sounds like.
It feels different too. My God. Dude.
Dude, it's sick. It sounds really good at idle too.
Yeah, totally. It's funny because I viewed this car as like kind of like old guy spec and like interior's nice, it gets good gas mileage, and now it's like the same car inside, but it's fast as fuck. And it sounds sick. It's my dream.
A cool looking car is just a bunch of really good little decisions. I don't know who made all these little decisions, but they were the right ones. This thing looks sick, dude. This is like a perfect E30.
I said earlier in the video that the reason I bought this car to begin with was because of like white E30 M3 was my dream car when I was a kid, and I had a poster on my wall, like all the cliche stuff. And James was like, yeah, this is better. And that's true.
Dude, this would smoke an E30 M3.
Better than my dream car. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Perfect formula. Same car, same year, different formula. Both very cool. I think there's a lot of people out there who are intrigued by the idea of getting an old car. They're cool, they're romantic, they allow you to express yourself in ways that a new car never could. But the stigma of being unreliable and uncomfortable scares a lot of people away. The E30 is a car that truly allows you to have it all. It combines classic car vibes with a relatively modern driving experience. And if things break, which they will, or you decide to modify it, which you should, there is more support for these cars than almost any other chassis on the planet. If you want to make it fast, you can make it fast. If you want it to handle well, you can do that too. And if you just want to lower it on a cool set of wheels and cruise with your friend, the only thing that looks better than a nice E30 cruising down the road is 2 nice E30s. Mobbing. Truly, the spice of life. Thank you guys for watching. We make a ton of videos about a ton of different stuff. If you're new here, welcome. Go check some of those out. And if you like a few of them, then yeah, hit that subscribe button. As a reminder, go check out Bamboo Lab. They have a variety of printers at different price points. And check out their Maker World, which is a community chock full of all sorts of different models that you can download and print. The future is here, guys. I will see you on the next one. I love you.